What's up, Pokemaniacs? I am the Online Orphan, and I am your analyst for Season 2 of the Pokemon Uber League. And we are back for another Power Rankings video, as today we will be going over the Week 4 battles and ranking each team from 20 to number 1. So get hyped for the video as we go over each and every team, how they did this week, and where they are ranked. So let's go ahead and get right into it here, as we will be starting with the bottom 5, of course, and in the number 20 spot after week 4 is going to be the Albany Dragonites. The Albany Dragonites, the only team currently without a win at 0-4, losing this week 0-5 to their opponent and dropping one spot in the rankings here. Really, I think the biggest issue for the Dragonites in their Week 4 battle was they attempted to get a little greedy with their setup, and I believe that is what cost them the most. So, unfortunately, the Dragonites not able to pick up their first win this week, and they will be sitting in the last spot. At the number 19 spot this week, falling 3 spaces, are the Brighton Boldors. The Brighton Boldors now with a 1-3 record, also losing 0-5 in their game. Really, what hurt them the most is from the very beginning, it seemed as though they were on the retreat and constantly having to switch out in their battle, and they could just never get a good foothold on the game, only able to take out one of their opponent's Pokemon. So the Brighton Boldors falling a couple of spaces here, down to the number 19 spot. In the number 18 spot this week is going to be the Southern Blazikens. The Southern Blazikens actually going up 2 spaces here from the final spot, now with a 1-3 record, so finally claiming their first win and a decisive 4-0 victory. Now, they did have some issues in powering up their opponent's Bisharp, obviously by setting up the sticky webs and then attempting to strength sap it, so unfortunate there, but in the end was able to win a very stally game right off the bat. So the Southern Blazikens moving up a couple of spots here with a nice 4-0 victory. Up next in the 17th spot is going to be the Melbourne Staruse, falling a couple of spots here once again, down 2 this week, and now with a 1-3 record, losing their game 0-2. And overall, they didn't have a terrible battle. I will say, though, looking over the battle, it appears that they had put 2 of their opponent's Pokemon to sleep. I don't believe it mattered, however, because the Donphan would have gone down to a Giga Drain if that was the click instead of the Spore. So I don't think it mattered too much, but again, a decent battle from the Melbourne Staruse. Again, only losing 0-2, but really not able to capitalize. Up next is the Umende Explodes in the number 16 spot with the 1-3 record, falling 3 spaces this week, taking an 0-2 loss. Definitely an interesting attempt here at their battle, as they were very reliant upon the Trick Room, and unfortunately it really wasn't working out for them well in the beginning of the battle. I think the Cofagrigus did well with it more towards the back half of the battle, able to utilize Will-O-Wisp and Hex pretty effectively. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to get themselves set up under Trick Room again towards the beginning of the battle and make it so that they were in a more offensive position. So with that, let's jump into the next set of teams here as we move into the number 15 spot here, and this week it is going to be the Seattle Slowpokes here, moving up 3 spaces, now with a 1-3 record and winning their battle 2-0. Very well played around the opponent's Trick Room, and really a solid Mega Salamence set, able to not only Dragon Dance up, but roost away any damage it was taking, and then just hit hard with Dragon Claw and return. So A nice set there and a well-played match by the Seattle Slowpokes. Coming in the number 14 spot this week, staying where they were from last week as well, is going to be the Jacksonville Jolteons. The Jacksonville Jolteon now with the 1-3 record and losing their battle 0-3, and they may have misclicked at one point in the battle when they clicked Swords Dance, but their Pokemon already had max attack. Now I will say that they did miss back-to-back high jump kicks with Pheromosa, so certainly unfortunate there. However, I believe that at that point the battle may have been lost to them. So again, misses are unfortunate, but if you lose a game because of a miss, then perhaps we shouldn't win the battle at all. So Jacksonville Jolteons not moving down, but not moving up either. Coming in at the number 13 spot, of course, the biggest drop of the week, dropping 10 spots all the way down, are the Cleveland Crobats. Now with the 2-2 record, the Cleveland Crobats this week got 6-0 swept, and unfortunately there really wasn't anything they could do about it. I think they started off the battle very poorly. They played right into the Xatu switch in, having the webs thrown right back at them, and then allowing the Xatu to burn the Shuckle right off the bat, and really there was just no coming back from them from that point. And again, you lose 6-0, it's typically going to be a big drop. So Cleveland Crobats can certainly get back up into a top tier position, but they've really got to show it in their next week's battle. Up next in the number 12 spot, going to be the Cardwell Colossals, moving up 5 spaces this week, now with a 2-2 record, and winning their match 3-0 this week, even missing a couple of key attacks in the game, but really they had a fantastic Zekrom this week to really wear down the opponent. Again, this is the game where a couple of high jump kicks did miss and ended up assisting the Cardwells with the win, but I believe the Cardwell Colossals had a well-played and well-prepped team for their battle. In the number 11 spot this week is going to be the Montreal Canadienses, falling 1 spot out of the top 10 this week. They are now 2-2, and they ended up losing 0-4 this week, and unfortunately they had a couple of just bad predictions when it came to attempting to set up and the opponent just not switching and really not falling for it. So just a couple of unfortunate or bad predictions on their part, only dropping 1 space though, and they can certainly climb back into the top 10 with another couple of fantastic wins down the road. So let's go ahead and jump into the top 10 here, as we will be starting at the number 10 spot with the Black City Bisharps. Black City Bisharps now sitting at a 2-2 record, dropping 1 space this week and losing their match 0-4 as well. The Quagsire was a really good bring this match, I believe, against the opponent. However, Quagsire clicked Earthquake twice on a levitating Pokemon, and that is never going to be a good time. So, and really the other thing that slowed them down was not having any reliable hazard removal, obviously getting caught with the toxic spikes and then the webs as well. So Black City Bisharps just unable to break through the opponents. Up next in the number 9 spot, going to be the Maine Red Clowitzers, now with a 2-2 record and moving up 3 spaces this week into the top 10. Really, I think they had a nice rhythm in the battle and had good control over their opponent, setting up the rocks and then able to Dragon Tail multiple Pokemon over the rocks, doing a lot of chip damage to the team, and a really well played match by the Red Clowitzers, and certainly deserving of their jump into the top 10 this week. Up next in the number 8 spot is the Lexington Leafeons. The Lexington Leafeons now with a 2-2 record and falling 4 spots this week. Now they did only lose 0-1. It's seemingly on that very last attack. The Dazzling Gleam not taking out the Hawlucha. I'd have to check the calcs and check the stats to see if it was a low roll or high roll, but they did lose on what seemed to be the very last play. The Milotic and the Roserade were very nice sets this week, really putting in a lot of work against the opponents, but again, losing the battle in the end, so falling a couple of spaces here, but still in the top 10. Up next in the 7 spot is the Crazy Kermit Club, moving up 4 spaces this week into the top 10, now with the 3-1 record. A really nice lead Smeargle to set up the rest of the team, allowing them to take a big 4-0 victory this week. Really able to just plug away at the opponent, predicting plays and a little bit risky play, I would say, but still paid off for them in the end. So Crazy Kermit Club jumping back into the top 10 this week. Next up in the number 6 spot is going to be the Haxo Halderan. The Haxo Halderan moving up 2 spaces this week, now with the 3-1 record and a convincing 5-0 victory in their game, having a lot of great predictions and solid reads, and the Rayquaza that was brought really did a lot of work for them. So jumping back up a couple of spaces, the Haxo Halderan trying to make their way back into the top 5. And speaking of the top 5, let's go ahead and jump right into it here, as we are starting off with the Wellington Ho-Oh in the number 5 spot. Now with a 3-1 record, winning their game 1-0, not moving up or moving down. And again, this was the game where it came down to the very last play, and a Dazzling Gleam did not KO the Hawlucha. So the Calm Mind Koko was a fantastic set, along with the Z Twinkle Tackle there. So really well prepped by the Wellington Ho-Ohs again, but it coming down to that very last play, not able to move them up any spaces this week. Next up in the 4 spot, the Warsaw Weaviles continuing to move up the list here, going up 2 this week, as they are now 3-1 with a convincing 6-0 victory this week. They had the perfect switch into the Shuckle with the Xatu, allowing it to bounce the sticky webs back and then burn it. Really well played. And then just a great Mewtwo set in this battle to pretty much blow back the opponent. So Warsaw Weaviles continuing their charge to the top spot. In the 3 spot this week are the Boston Celebi, now with a 3-1 record, going down 2 spots from the number 1 space here. The Boston Celebi certainly had a chance there, were almost able to turn it around with the Victini and the Mega Gengar, but just unable to finish off their opponent, who is sitting right above them. Not worthy of dropping more than the 2 spots in my mind, but certainly couldn't put them over their opponent and the new number 1, as we will see here. And their opponent now sitting in the number 2 spot, the Blazing Infernapes, also with that 3-1 record, jumping up 5 spaces here, able to take down the number 1 team in the Boston Celebi. The Air Balloon Trick Room Dialga was a fantastic bring, and really the Piloswine had a great advantage in this game, able to really check and threaten a lot of the Celebi's team. So the Blazing Infernape doing a fantastic job prep-wise and a well-played game. And into the number 1 spot this week, the last remaining undefeated team, the Calverton Kinglers, with a 4-0 record, moving up into the number 1 spot with a 2-0 victory here. Really had some fantastic counters to the opponent and a nice Azumarill set. Not the typical standard, belly drum aqua set, but more of a defensive, toxic Azumarill. Worked out really well for them, and I was excited to see Azumarill used in that way. So, guys, that is going to be our Week 4 power rankings for the Pokemon Uber League. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe for all of our Draft League content. Check out the links in the description as well, where you can find all of our coaches who have channels, as well as myself, where you can go and find me. So, once again, I am the Online Orphan, and I am signing out.